Okay, so first question we have here is from Trisha. Trisha says, looking at my niche statement. So this is the niche, as Trisha has written it. I help women professionals free themselves from overwhelm and reclaim their joy in life. The 12-week course, along with group and individual coaching, brings awareness and tools allowing you to shift your perspective, therefore empowering you to choose how you show up in all situations, bringing more joy to your world. Okay. So, Trisha, where are you zooming in from?
I am from Michigan.
Okay, great. So I help women when we're looking at a target market. The most important thing is you need to know if you're in that group or not. If you ever hear somebody say target market and you're confused if you're in that group, that's a red flag. So women professionals, that's good. I know I'm not a women professional. Free themselves from overwhelm. So yeah, I think that's probably relatable. Women professionals who are overwhelmed. Um, why do you think? Why do they think they're overwhelmed?
Too much going on in their world as far as having a job, juggling job and home responsibilities, maybe kids, husband, maybe just work is overwhelming in and of itself, too many tasks being asked of them. So yeah.
And why do you think they're overwhelmed? Do you share their opinion that it's just too many things going on, or?
Yes, I resonate as far as I have been overwhelmed, and there was a time in my life that I didn't even know what fun was anymore. I didn't even know what joy was. And so really have tried to, switch my perspective and shift things in order to find that out. So,
But do you think the overwhelm is a result of all the demands, or do you think the overwhelm is a result of something else?
both. I think that um, it is their perspective of the demands on them. And I also feel that it is, so I teach 7 levels of energy. And so kind of talk about, the giving piece. And when things are not going well or not flowing, then we typically go down into overwhelm, which is level 1. Some people go to anger, but many people go to overwhelm. So trying to get them to see the different levels of energy and figure out where they can kind of show up by shifting their perspective on what's really being asked, or setting boundaries, have different
Uh-huh.
steps of
So if I'm
organization of their work, boundaries, energy levels. And so those are
right.
some of my modules that I talk about.
So what I'm getting is, if I'm hearing right, you could have two professional women dealing with the exact same set of demands, but one, because they've got good boundaries and have maybe a different perspective on it, would feel less overwhelmed than another woman with the exact same demands. Yeah.
I believe that, yes.
I mean, generally, I think this is fairly clear. I get it. My only concern is, are there so many other people offering this? And then what
Okay.
is it, what is it that makes it different? How many other
Unique.
coaches out there who are saying, I help, basically women professionals who are overwhelmed?
Okay.
It's that doesn't mean don't do it, but I find myself wondering, is there yeah, are they overwhelmed in a particular way? Do they see something as a particular cause of that? And something for everybody that's worth thinking about is, sometimes we can find a metaphor. So, in this case, what is it like for these women? What does it feel like, this overwhelm? Like, metaphorically, does it feel like they're carrying way too much weight? Does it feel like they're being buried alive?
Boulders on the shoulders. That's
Uh,
my little.
okay, great. Um, and it's just partly the trouble is the weight, and partly the trouble is the balancing it. And what are they scared is going to happen in that metaphor?
Ooh, in that metaphor. Yeah. Never be lifted off, never feel lighter,
Uh,
because
got it.
this is just the way life is. It's the hamster wheel of life, and this is what I'm supposed to do. So I just have to keep on doing it.
Okay, so that's a piece I might add in here. Is I help women professionals, this is not the best wording, but who felt overwhelmed for years and fear it's never going to go away. They're carrying around these 6-ton boulders of obligation and duty and responsibility on their back, and they're beginning to wonder if they're ever going to be able to take them off. Like, oh my God, am I going to one day just collapse under the weight of these, be crushed by them, and they will become the markers of my grave, and they're going to become my tombstones, basically.
Yes.
And people will be able to look and say, oh yeah, that's where that person fell down and died. Too bad, for them.
Mhm.
So that feeling of hopeless, it's not just overwhelmed, but I'm hearing a hopelessness of maybe this never goes away. Maybe this is just. And so one of the other questions around niching, because I still have a number of questions around niching, the best question I think we can ask, I got from Jeffrey Van Dyke, is just what's the perfect moment for us to show up? Meaning there's a too soon and there's a too late. And it sounds like a sweet spot here is they've probably been overwhelmed for a while, but then there's a breaking point. And that breaking point I would typify as two things. One, something has happened where they realize this must change. Not that it should or could, this has to. I can't keep going like this. And number two, they realize they need help. Yeah, they can't do it on their own, which is what makes them open to, somebody like us who would have offer them some help.
Yes.
And so the clearer we can get about what that moment is, and not just abstractly, I mean, it's situationally. Maybe their partner just served divorce papers to them. Maybe their kid has acted out in a very scary way. Maybe they got a health diagnosis that they can directly connect to the stress they're under. Maybe they missed an important magical moment in their child's life, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, as a result of caring. Like, what can't they do? And something has happened, and now fuck, this will not be the rest of my life. I need help, because otherwise this is something I call, if you go to marketingforhippies.com/island Z or Z, that's one of the things. Is this, what's this fear? Sometimes that's what I call island A. This is the problem they have, the symptoms they have. Sometimes the major symptom that they have is this fear they have. A lot of us could relate to as if you ever had anyone in your family who had Alzheimer's, and you just look at them and you think, do not let me get to this point. Oh my God. But some people live with a real active fear of that, and there's a lot of versions. The other thing, just it's free for now, though I'll be charging for it at some point in the next year. If you go to marketingforhippies.com/puttering prep, so I do one-on-one coaching puttering sessions, I call them, which you can find at marketingforhippies.com/puttering. But the puttering prep, these are the exercises I give people, and they're all niching exercises because almost everybody calls me about niching. But if you're struggling with niche, I really recommend diving into that. It's free. It's some of my best exercises just to articulate who is your ideal client. And there you go. So Tricia, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.